Airplanes are not usually associated with the paranormal, but you know that in this channel the airplanes are the main protagonist of paranormal events. That's why today I present to you 5 ghost planes flying in the sky right now. Number 5. The plane from Dark Hollow. There is a legend in Pennsylvania that tells the story of a ghost plane that flies constantly asking for help in the mountains of Dark Hollow. But what many don't know is how it all began. It was November 18, 1955. It was believed that a plane had crashed in the area after Dale Murphy, Civil Defense Coordinator in Cumberland County, received numerous reports from neighboring counties about a plane flying at low altitude, allegedly in a state of emergency. During the rescue day, a certain witness said he saw a large figure pass over a hill at high speed and then heard a loud explosion. Despite all these reports, air traffic control agencies in Cumberland County had not picked up any aircraft in the area, at least not with their radars. Even so, the search continued. In fact, rescue planes were sent to check a very deep and inaccessible ravine, where 2 flares had been spotted in the distance, but they could not find anything either. More than 300 people in total were present in the search and rescue operation, but without success. However, on the 20th, 2 days later, the sightings of the aircraft returned, along with 2 yellow flares. The rescue bodies returned but could not find anything. Eventually, the search was called off definitively, but the ghost plane still appears from time to time. Number 4. The Ovando Paratroopers. In 1956, something very strange happened in Ovando, in the state of Montana. A group of 3 women saw a trail of strangely dark smoke coming from an airplane, as if it were on fire. Seconds later, they spotted the plane and they could see some people getting out of it by parachute. The woman immediately went to alert the authorities. At that time, the position of sheriff was held by Ed Barrow. He and a colleague took it upon themselves to search the area, by land and by air, but they were unable to find anything related to the alleged incident. The most interesting part starts now. 2 days after the sighting, a young man said he saw and heard an explosion near his home. When the sheriff noted the exact location of the explosion, he realized that it was the same place where the woman had seen the plane. In addition, the time also coincided with that given by the previous witnesses. It was then that she asked for help from higher-ranking authorities, who stated there were no commercial, private, or military aircraft missing or faulty. In the end, they were never able to solve the case. Number 3. Westbrooks Plane. On January 15, 1997, the Coast Guard and the Connecticut State Department of Environmental Protection received numerous reports of a small plane that had crashed into the water off the coast of Westbrook. The witness who gave the most details was Daniel Bowles, who said that while drinking his morning cup of coffee at 7:30 a.m., he saw from his kitchen window a very low-flying plane suddenly plunged straight ahead into the water. The fire brigades of Westbrook and all the nearby towns, plus the Coast Guard and many civilian boat crews, did their best to search for the aircraft within a 100-kilometer radius without success. In addition, none of the air authorities had reported any missing aircraft. At 4 p.m. that day, the search was called off without success. Number 2. The Palmira Sphere. The next one is one of the strangest cases related to airplanes. It was June 1944. World War II was about to end. A Coast Guard ship received an alert from the United States Navy. A patrol plane had crashed near there, 1,000 miles from Hawaii. The idea was to try and find the survivors. When the boat was found at the crash site, they couldn't see any remains. In the end, the boat was taken to the island of Palmira during the night. The officer in charge stayed on board keeping watch. In the middle of the night, he saw a light coming towards the island. He thought it was the missing plane, but when he looked through his binoculars, he noticed that it was no ordinary aircraft. It was a luminescent sphere, and it was moving so slowly, sometimes it seemed to stop completely. So much so that the sphere was in the sky for over 30 minutes. In the end, it accelerated like never before and got lost in the north. The next day, the officer told a Navy lieutenant about the event. He told him that there was no American plane that night at that place, and because of the war situation, it was almost impossible for a Japanese plane to get that far. The officer strongly believes that the sphere incident and the plane incident are closely related. Number 1. The Spitfire. The Spitfire is one of the most famous warplanes in history. It was crucial in Britain's fight against Germany in the Second World War. It happens to have such a distinctive sound that anyone who has heard it once will recognize it forever. Eventually, the Spitfire was discontinued, and today there are only a few left at the base of Biggin Hill, more for display. But for some reason, there are continual reports of a Spitfire flying over the base. So many people have reported it that the British Air Force had to issue a statement saying that it was probably another type of plane, but everyone knows the sound of a Spitfire. Zone 0. On December 26, 1933, there was a snowstorm in New York State like never before. All the pilots were ordered not to fly, but in the middle of the night, the whole city saw a small airplane flying very low, as if looking for a place to land. No one was able to contact it on the radio or anything like it, until the plane simply disappeared without a trace. These are not the only stories of missing planes. There is a case in which a plane took off without a pilot and disappeared. If you are interested, here is the video.